Thank you very much, Leanne. Can I begin by thanking both Nathan and Yvonne for your, as always, very heartfelt and informative welcome to country. Can I also acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I also want to acknowledge the lands from which all of you come. I want to, before I acknowledge all of the special guests, on behalf of the Speaker of the House, who is here, and sitting right next to him, obviously the President, a former Minister for Aboriginal Affairs, I'm going to take the liberty of formally welcoming everybody to the New South Wales Parliament, the oldest Parliament in Australia. It is so wonderful to be here with you. As I was walking in, one of my Aboriginal brothers said to me, "Wow, it's taken me a while to get here, but at least I'm here now." So a special welcome for those who it's your first time. And another one walked in and said, "Wow, this is a really small place." Yes, don't we know it? But welcome to all of you. I want to acknowledge the Metro Local Aboriginal Land Council, all of the Land Council councillors. It was fantastic to catch up with you the other day for your meeting. I want to particularly acknowledge, of course, the Minister for Aboriginal Affairs, the Honourable David Harris. I'll say more about him in just a moment. That'll make him nervous. And there are many other former ministers here. I acknowledge Paul Lynch. Great to have you back in the House, Paul. I know that Sarah Mitchell will be joining us later on as well. So it's wonderful to see that dedication represented here, just the fact that they are passionate about making sure that they're here for this celebration. Have acknowledged the Speaker and the President. I was going to name all of the MPs, my colleagues from both houses actually, from the Legislative Council and the Legislative Assembly, and from across the political divide, but they kept walking in one after the other. So at the risk of sounding like my former role as a teacher, I'm not going to name them all, but I'm going to ask them to stand so you know who they are. So I'll ask my colleagues to stand up just very quickly, just to show the breadth of representation here, as said, from both houses. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you. I'd like to also acknowledge the late Honourable Frank Walker MP, who, as David said, on the 24th of March 1983, delivered the second reading speech as Minister for Aboriginal Affairs in this place, and therefore delivered the Aboriginal Land Rights Act. But I think more importantly, I want to acknowledge and thank all of those people who fought so hard for so many years before 1983 to ensure that these land rights became enacted in this state. The bill was assented by the Governor on the 4th of May, and the Aboriginal Land Rights Act commenced operation, as we've heard, on the 10th of June 1983. Can I thank you for your really kind invitation to allow me to join you here today for this significant milestone marking 40 years since the commencement of the Aboriginal Land Rights Act in New South Wales. As a former minister and now a shadow minister, I am so incredibly grateful to have had the opportunity to reconnect with you all and to continue my strong advocacy on your behalf in the New South Wales Parliament. I am absolutely, genuinely saying this. It is a real pleasure to work alongside David as Minister. Formerly a shadow minister while I had that role, because he and I have actually much in common when it comes to Aboriginal affairs. We have both been so incredibly privileged to be the recipients of your shared knowledge, your culture and your experiences, and we are both determined to work in unison to improve the outcomes for Aboriginal people right across this state. Of course, the passing of the Aboriginal Land Rights Act in 1983 also marked the establishment of Aboriginal land councils in New South Wales, underpinned by the principle of self-determination, giving them the right to claim land as compensation for the historic dispossession of land, providing them with opportunities to support their Aboriginal communities, social and economic development. Importantly, the Aboriginal Land Rights Act recognises the traditional ownership of the land by Aboriginal people and the importance of their connection to that land. It recognises the spiritual, the social, the cultural and the economic importance of land to our Aboriginal people. It also recognised that past governments' decisions have progressively reduced the land set aside for Aboriginal people without any compensation. And whilst land rights in New South Wales may be world leading, and whilst we have also made some small steps forward in this state to recognise the importance and the significance of Aboriginal language and culture, facilitated the return of dispossessed land and reparation, acknowledging the enduring trauma of the removal of children from their families and community. As David has said, and I totally agree, there is so much more work we still need to do. You have my commitment to continue to work with you, to make even bigger steps and to make this state a better place for all of us. Thank you to all the members of the Land Councils for your ongoing work. Thank you for walking with us, and thank you for guiding us. Thank you.